The night was a thick, inky blanket, suffocating the last whispers of the day. Rain lashed against the windshield, each drop a tiny hammer against the glass. Inside the car, 3 figures sat in tense silence, the only sound their ragged breathing and the rhythmic thud of the wipers. In the back, a 4th figure lay unnaturally still. They had done it. They had gotten away with it. Or so they thought. The driver, a man named Marcus, gripped the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles were white. His eyes darted to the rearview mirror, but all he could see was the churning darkness they were leaving behind. Beside him, Leo stared straight ahead, his face a mask of stone. In the back, clutching a shovel, sat Chloe, her body trembling not from the cold, but from the adrenaline and the terrible weight of their actions. They had left her in the woods, a shallow grave, their only monument to a friendship shattered by greed. They drove for what felt like an eternity, the winding country road a serpent leading them away from their sin. The city lights were a distant promise on the horizon, a beacon of a life they could return to, a life where this night never happened. "We're almost clear," Marcus finally rasped, his voice raw. "Another 20 minutes, and we're home free." Leo just grunted in response, his gaze fixed on the road. They rounded a sharp bend, the tires squealing on the wet asphalt, and that's when they saw it. A single pair of headlights, far behind them, cutting through the rain-soaked gloom. Chloe gasped, her eyes wide with terror. "Who's that?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Relax," Marcus snapped, his own heart starting to hammer against his ribs. "It's just another car. It's a public road." But the headlights seemed to be gaining on them, a relentless pursuit in the dead of night. Marcus pressed his foot harder on the accelerator. The engine whined in protest as the speedometer needle climbed, but the lights behind them kept pace, a persistent, unnerving presence. They weren't just another car. They were following them. "Lose them, Marcus!" Leo commanded, his composure finally cracking. Marcus swerved onto a narrow side road, a dirt track that plunged deeper into the darkness of the surrounding forest. Mud and gravel flew as the car fishtailed, but he regained control. He glanced in the mirror. For a moment, there was nothing. A collective sigh of relief filled the car, but the relief was short-lived. The headlights reappeared, brighter this time, closer. They had followed them onto the dirt track. Panic began to set in, a cold, creeping dread that was far worse than the night's chill. "It can't be," Chloe whimpered, tears streaming down her face. "No one saw us. No one knew we were there." The car behind them drew closer and closer until it was right on their tail, its high beams flooding their car with blinding white light. They could see the silhouette of a single driver, but no other features. Suddenly, the pursuing vehicle swerved, pulling up alongside them. For a horrifying moment, the 2 cars were side by side, hurtling through the muddy darkness. Marcus, Leo, and Chloe were frozen, their faces pale in the glare. They braced for a collision, for the sound of sirens, for anything. But the other car just kept pace, its driver a faceless shadow. And then, as if playing some cruel game, it accelerated, pulling ahead of them. The car sped up the track and screeched to a halt about 100 yards ahead, blocking the path completely. Its brake lights glowed a malevolent red in the night. They were trapped. "What do we do?" Leo yelled, his voice laced with panic. Marcus slammed on the brakes, the car skidding to a stop just feet from the other vehicle. The engine stalled, plunging them into an even deeper silence, broken only by the drumming of the rain. The doors of the car in front of them opened. But it wasn't the police. 2 figures emerged, their forms indistinct in the glare of their own headlights. They walked slowly, deliberately towards Marcus's car. As they drew closer, their features became clearer. Marcus's blood ran cold. He recognized them. They were associates of the man they'd just double-crossed, the man whose money they thought they had secured for themselves, the money that had led them to betray their friend. But it was the 3rd figure that made their hearts stop. Emerging from the driver's side, limping but very much alive, was the woman they had left for dead in the woods. Her face was bruised and streaked with mud, her eyes burning with a cold, righteous fury. She hadn't been alone out there. Her partners had been waiting, watching, a contingency she had wisely put in place. She had known her friends might betray her. As the three Avengers approached, the world inside the car seemed to shrink. There were no more roads, no more escape plans, only the terrifying reality of their situation. The friendly faces they had betrayed were now replaced by the grim visages of retribution. The silence was finally broken by a sharp rap on the driver's side window. The woman they thought was gone forever stood there, a faint, chilling smile on her lips. They had left her for dead. But in the darkness, she had found her own light, and now it was their turn to face the consequences. The night was far from over. For them, the real nightmare was just beginning. Thank you so much for watching. What a roller coaster of a story, right? It just goes to show you should always be careful who you trust. If you enjoyed this tale of suspense and revenge, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, stay safe and watch your back.